Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. There's a man who is stuck on the roof of his house during a flood. And a boat comes by and the man in the boat says, we'll get in the boat and I'll rescue you. And the man on the roof says, no, God will provide. A few hours later, the water level rises up to his waist and another boat comes by and the man in the boat says, we'll get in the boat, I'll rescue you. And the man on the roof says, no, God will provide. Well, a few hours later, the water level rises up to his neck, and he's barely holding on to the roof with his feet. And a helicopter comes and drops its ladder, and the man in the helicopter says, climb the ladder and get in the helicopter, I'll rescue you. And the man says, no, God will provide. Well, a few hours later, the water level gets too high and the man drowns. And he stands before God and he's confused and he says, God, why didn't you provide for me? And God says, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Well, this strange, humorous story, maybe you've heard it before, but it goes right along with what I want to talk about, and it's something I call dangerous faith. Now, we wonder how faith can be dangerous, but in context of the story, it can be very dangerous if misused, or abused in this case. To bring it up into the real world, there are people who will disregard medicine, disregard doctors, disregard any kind of medical help because they say, God is the one who heals, not human beings. I'm not going to put my trust in a human being. I only trust God. Or there are certain people who will put themselves in harm's way. They will say things like, well, I can smoke and I can drink alcohol, I can do all these drugs, and I'll ask God not to let them hurt. Those things hurt me, and I'll be okay. So what we're doing is putting God to the test. And that's how Jesus puts it. When Satan is trying to tempt Jesus to do certain things, one of the things that Satan does is take Jesus to the top of the temple. And he says, hey, Jesus, throw yourself off the temple, and angels will catch you, and you won't even stub your toe. But Jesus says, it is written, you shall not put the Lord God to the test. And many people are doing that these days. And ultimately, in their arrogance, they say, I have the faith that God will do this. And I don't need human intervention. I don't need human interaction. I don't need human medicine because God will do it. And their children die, or they die, or their spouse dies, or somebody ends up dying. And it puts others in harm's way. And God has never once called us to put ourselves in unnecessary harm's way. Well, doesn't the Bible say something about, if you drink poison, it won't kill you, and if you can handle venomous snakes? And so in the end of Mark, yes, the Bible, Jesus does say that, but he's not telling his disciples to go out of their way to drink poison or to handle dangerous animals. He's saying that, at this point, I'm protecting you. He protected the early church from certain harms, especially his apostles, because he wanted to get the message out. Now, of course, they all died eventually. Most of them were martyred by human beings. But that's all beside the point. What Jesus is trying to say is we do not put ourselves in harm's way purposely. We don't grab a bottle of drain cleaner and drink it just to prove that God is protecting us. We don't jump off of a building to prove that God is protecting us. And we don't ignore necessary medicines and trips to the doctor because we want to prove something. God doesn't need us to help him prove anything. What he needs us to do is be obedient and faithful. Now, I've already talked about proof of faith, so I'm not going to go into that again. But we are not to put God to the test. We are not to have dangerous faith. Don't be throwing yourself off of buildings or into traffic. Don't drink bottles upon bottles of alcohol and ask God not to let you get drunk. You be faithful to the things he does say. Don't put God to the test, but trust that whatever happens to you, or whatever you're going through, that God has the means to provide for you. And that includes doctors and medicine. He provided those things. So who gave the person the knowledge to become the doctor? Who gave the person the knowledge to put together the medicines so they're not poisonous or dangerous for people. God is the one who gave these people all that information and all the knowledge and the skill to be able to do what they do. So it's not a sin, and it's not going against your faith if you go to a doctor, or you take medicines, or you take care of yourself, or you take precautions, or you're safe about things. Don't do these things, because it's not a good testimony. It just makes you look foolish. And the last thing we want to do is make God look foolish. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.